Hey everybody, it's Candy, aka Brown Eyed Girl. Well, I know it's been a minute since I've made a video. Been working a lot, and I also have a job interview here in about 2.5 hours. I'm trying to get a second job. The interview I have is at a restaurant called the Boomerang Diner. They basically serve food, 50s style type food, hamburgers, hot dogs. They have breakfast. Um, they have a variety of a menu. It's not just hamburgers and hot dogs, but the diner sort of looks 50-ish. Anyways, that's not why I decided to make a video. I figured when I was a parent and Kelsey was really little, I researched who her teacher was going to be for the year. And so I thought, well, my granddaughters are... And back when Kelsey was growing up, I didn't have the technology that I have right now. When Kelsey was a small child just starting school, I didn't have a computer. I didn't have any of that. I wasn't connected in. I did have a cell phone. But I didn't even really know how to text on it. I used it more for emergency purposes or for like when I was out and about with Kelsey, going to like the city or something like that, and was away from home. And in case something happened where I needed help, I'd have access to a phone. That was basically how technology started for me, It was just an emergency thing. So I had to basically research about her teachers by word of mouth or by going and physically meeting them and having a conversation with them myself, so I could judge whether or not I would trust this person with my child. And back when I was a kid growing up, we had one teacher up until a certain age, which I think that was 5th grade for me, so I would have been like in 10 when we started changing teachers and didn't just have one teacher for the whole class. So basically, kindergarten through 4th grade, I had one teacher. And she taught us everything. She taught us reading, writing, spelling, your basic math. Of course, when you were in kindergarten, you were just learning your basics, like your ABCs, your numbers, your colors, things of that nature. Association, picture association with words, Then as you aged, they started adding more things onto you, as far as those basics was concerned. And usually the one teacher had like maybe, 20 students in her class. 25 at the most. Depending on the size of the school and the city, town that people grew up in. I grew up in a small town, so I'm going to say that, there was maybe 20 of us kids in one classroom. And one teacher that taught us everything. Now, with Kelsey, she kind of grew up with the same concept where she had just one teacher per class until she got to be in 5th grade, and they started switching classes. But I don't think she had any more than one teacher per class, So I go on to Purcell School website, look up who the teachers are for the elementary school, because I already found out who the teacher is for my granddaughter Everly in pre-K. So I thought, well, I want to at least see who this woman is and see what her picture looks like. I've heard nothing but good about this lady. Everybody praises her. I wouldn't say praises her, but I haven't heard anything bad said about her. Everybody's like, she has Mrs. Brown. Oh, she's really nice. I think everybody's going to like her. Now, my other granddaughter, she's going into Head Start. And Head Start's in a completely different building away from the elementary school. And the way it's set up here in this town is a lot different than when I was a kid or Kelsey was growing up here. When I was growing up here, kindergarten was in a completely different building. And then I went to first grade in a different building, which was like 1st through 6th, I think. But then they built a new elementary school. And so that was going to be 1st grade through 4th grade. Then they had a building that was 5th grade through 8th grade, which was considered the middle school. And then they had the high school, which was 9th through 12th. That's the way it was when I was a kid growing up. Now, when Kelsey was growing up here, it was a little different. Kindergarten, I think it was kindergarten through 2nd in one building. And then they had the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade in one building. Then they had built a new building and had 6th, 7th. No, it was kindergarten through 2nd. Then they had 3rd and 4th. And then they had 5th and 6th. And then they had the 7th and 8th at the old high school, which was just a junior high. And then they had a new high school built, which was 9th through 12th grade. They've changed it around a little bit now, but it's pretty much the same. But I was looking on the website, and I was noticing under the teachers, they had the pre-K teachers, the kindergarten teacher, the 1st grade teacher, and the 2nd grade teachers. And then they had all these people listed that it said reading teacher / interventionist. And there was a whole bunch of these. And I was like, I didn't count how many, but I'd say there was at least probably 10 to 12 of these people that's what their title is. They're a reading teacher / interventionist. So I happened to look it up online just to see what a reading teacher is. Well, it's as it sounds. They teach reading. But can't the classroom teacher do that? I mean, I guess what gets to me is the fact that there's these jobs being created for what? I mean, I sort of understand it and see how it happens because when I was a kid growing up, hey everybody, sorry I had to pause the video, and I'm in a costume change, obviously. My hair looks a lot different. Basically, my maintenance man messaged me and said that the water was getting shut off in like 30 minutes and that it was going to be shut off for like an hour. And like I said, I got that interview at 3 o'clock in 2 hours. So I didn't want to be having to try to rush between 2 and 3. And especially if the water didn't come back on in time. I wanted to make sure I was able to get a shower and do what I needed to do before the water got shut off. So, I got my shower out of the way. I'm in clean clothes. My body's clean. My hair isn't really the way I want it, but More than likely, I'm just going to throw a hat on today. But then again, I don't know. I might toss a little bit of gel in there a little later. And I didn't put no gel in my hair now because I didn't want, in case I didn't like it and wasn't able to wash it out before I go to the interview. I can always add it in later. Anyway, enough about that. Basically, education. I'm starting to see where we have failed our children. As parents and as a society and all, overall. We dropped the ball. Not all of us, but majority of the people did. I'm not going to sit here and say that I was perfect in my choices that I made raising my daughter and allowing her to go through the public school system. And her having jib jabs up until the age of 4. So I'm not going to sit there and deny my responsibility in it. But I will say this. As time's gone on throughout my daughter's life and in the last 15 years, looking back on everything, I always try to, look at different perspectives, I guess, or different angles. And I see it as the reason why they need all these added teachers is for children who have learning disabilities, who aren't learning on the same level or same pace as their classmates in the classroom. So they require to be taught on more of a one-on-one kind of level or smaller classroom setting. But these things wouldn't be necessary or required if parents would teach their children from the moment they basically emerge from the womb. Because there's children out there that are very, very, very talented and can carry on a full conversation with you at the age of 3 years old. Then there's other 3 years old that can barely speak, say their name, or even know the ABCs. And then you have some kids like my granddaughter. She's pretty smart. The 4-year-old and the 3-year-old both know their ABCs. The 4-year-old can count 1 to 10. Both the 4-year-old and 3-year-old both know their name and know their parents' names and know they know my name. They know Nana's name. They know pretty much all their grandparents' real names, as well as their parents' real names. They know their real names. They don't know their actual address yet, even though we've been trying to teach them that. And that'll come as time goes on. We've taught them their colors, but Everly still has a hard time associating the color with the actual color, if you know what I mean. So that's definitely something she's going to learn in school. And everything that she already knows is just going to be basically reiterated to her and till she, knows it by heart. Now, I'm not necessarily completely against the public school system, but I'm not completely for them either. I'm all good with the public school system teaching children what they need to learn, like reading, writing, spelling, mathematics, routine-esque type things, that there's a certain time limit for everything, like a time limit for lunch, a time limit for naps, a time limit for this, a time limit for that. To where it helps children become more organized, I'm all for that type of educating. I'm for science. I'm for learning things, learning how the world works, learning how things work. Not all the stuff that it's become nowadays, like back when I was in school, they had all sorts of trades that if you were interested in, you could learn a skill or a trade. We had wood shop, we had metal shop, we had Future Farmers of America, FFA, we had business law, business machines, was accounting, and then your basics, like your English, your math, your science, your history. But the older you get, they indoctrinate you more. So I'm not against public schools educating up to a certain age. But then I think at a certain age that we should be allowed to be schooled by our parents, But as most people hopefully can see nowadays, society isn't designed to serve us. Society is designed to serve those that deem themselves better than us. Those people that, are the CEOs of these corporations that run society. Their wealth is made off of the sweat and tears and blood of our backs, not theirs. And they're the ones that have deemed education. They want a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers. And I think Jacob Rothschild stated that. I want a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers. Why? Because if we all thought with our brains, if we were all thinkers and not just workers, then we're going to question the system. And that's the thing, is they don't want people to question the system. So I'm basically just trying to talk to my daughter and son-in-law and let them, let the girls and the boy go to school through, probably up until about 4th grade. Once they hit that 5th grade mark, where they're like 10 years old, they can come home and do their other homework online, or do their schoolwork online. And also have a life outside of school. And learn things like, living. I would love to be able to have some land, build either a nice house that could house all of us on it, or have at least a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home built, and then possible tiny house in the back for me. Or a couple of tiny houses in the back, guest house and my house. I would love to be able to have a garden, growing our own food, I would love to be able to have enough land and space to where we could raise our own chickens, ducks, cats and dogs, and have lots of flowers and plants of all sorts of types of things that would encourage bees and birds and nature to come around. It'd be awesome if it had a pond on it that we could stock if necessary. just being a homestead, growing our own food, sustaining ourselves, and living life happy and not chained to a society that doesn't care about us. But just taking care of ourselves, because people that rely on society to take care of them when the going gets tough are going to be the first ones to be imprisoned or the first ones to die off because they aren't prepared, I know I just think about these things every day, and I just want the best for myself and my family and my grandchildren because they are the future. I'm not the future. They're the future, My time's coming closer to an end, I still might have, I'm 55. I could live to be 100. That could be another 45 years here on Earth, but is that going to be my reality or am I going to drop dead tomorrow, I don't know when my time's up here. But I know that those children of mine, their time's not up yet. They're just getting started. Anyways, people, that's just things that's on my mind and things that I think about when it comes to public education and society and how things have changed in 50 years, because I started school 50 years ago in 1974 is when I started in kindergarten for half a day. And that is full day garbage. But anyways, much love, peace and love, everybody. Let me take a rip and a dip before I head out of here. Go to that job interview today, and hope it all goes well. I'm hoping I get to start this new job next week. That way I'll have extra money. If anybody in the meantime wants to help me out, my Cash App is BrownEyeGirl69. I got the link in my About Me section here. I'll leave it in the description in the bottom. And till the next time, peace, love, hugs, and mugs.